So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is a nonpartisan election event. It's being hosted by the American Society of Public Administration, San Francisco Bay Area chapter, and Cal State Monterey Bay Department of Health, Human Services, and Public Policy. I'm Vanessa Lopez-Littleton, an associate professor and chair of the Department of Health, Human Services, and Public Policy. We are recording this event. If you would like a copy of the recorded event, please feel free to leave your email address in the chat. Please keep your cameras off to reduce distractions during the event. The format for today will include a brief introduction by the Bay Area chapter of ASPA and each of our panelists, followed by a short list of prepared questions. We will then move on to an open Q&A from the audience. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat. My co-facilitators, Christine, Rico, and McGee will assist me in posing your questions. Your microphones and cameras should remain off during this session. Let's see. So McGee, if you would like to do a quick intro to the Bay Area chapter, that would be great.
All right. Well, thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for our panelists for joining us today on a very important public issue. This is one of the things that the ASPA San Francisco Bay Area wants to do and continue to do. And so as president of the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, I welcome you and I encourage you, if you're not already a member of ASPA, to become a more active member. And I'm going to post my contact information on there. So we're a chapter that started in San Francisco. I'm a faculty member at Golden Gate University. I'm the director of the Doctor of Business Administration program and also professor of public administration. I actually live in Monterey County. I'm sitting here under cloudy skies in Karate Tierra. So I'm living right here in one of your areas. Is it Gail that you're the county registrar, the elections registrar? Oh, Francis. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. I didn't get the titles there. So I just again want to thank you for being here today, and thank Vanessa and as a co-host with the CSUMB for putting this on. And I'll stop now. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thanks, Mick. Tina, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, my name is Christina Rico. I go as Tina. I'm a CSUMB student, Collaborative Health and Human Services, in concentration on social work, and I just want to say hi.
Absolutely. So Tina is helping me to manage the logistics for today. So if you have any technical questions, you're free to just send her a direct or private text through the chat. And so our panelists for today are Gail, I'm going to mess this up, Pellerin from Santa Cruz County, Claudio, Valenzuela from Monterey County, and Francisco Diaz from San Benito County. And so what I'm going to have them do is to do a little introduction of themselves first, and then we'll get into the Q&A. And so we're going to start with Gail first, if that's okay.
So just a quick introduction?
Yeah, and so you can actually do your quick introduction, and then, you know, if you want to go ahead and show your PowerPoint, that's fine.
Okay. So my name is Gail Pellerin. I'm the county clerk, registrar of voters in Santa Cruz County, and I've been the chief elections official since 1993. So I've been doing this a long time. And I became county clerk in 2004, which is an elected position in Santa Cruz County. Some counties it's appointed, but I've been elected and just got elected to my 4th term in 2018. So should everyone introduce themselves and I'll go back to PowerPoint?
Absolutely, that's fine. Go ahead. Okay. Claudio, you'd like to go?
Sure. I'm the registrar of voters here in Monterey County. I've been with elections for almost 20 years now. But of course, in election years, that's like more like 150. Okay? It's like dog years. Yeah, I became the assistant registrar a long time ago, and certainly the registrar in 2013, I believe. Yeah, so been the registrar for the last 6 years, is probably one of the most meaningful jobs I ever had. It's not a job, as I say, it's an adventure, and everything in between. I love doing it, and it's fulfilling. And again, I love it. So enough about me.
Thanks so much. Francisco.
Thank you. So my name is Francisco Diaz. I'm the assistant registrar. The registrar, Joe Paul Gonzalez, unfortunately wasn't able to make it. He's at a board meeting. I've just recently been promoted and due to a retirement. So I've been on the job for 2 months. Thank you. But prior to this, I did have 7 years of experience working in elections here in San Benito County.
I might add that I'm not elected, I'm appointed. Unlike the registrar in San Benito County, and of course, Gail in Santa Cruz, they're elected.
Well, and in San Benito, Joe Paul holds many hats. He's not only county clerk, registrar of voters, he's also assessor, right?
He's actually a controller auditor, and that's why he can't be here today, because he's dealing with some auditing issues with the board of supervisors.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for those introductions. And now, Gail, if you'd like to do your PowerPoint.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. Why is it not on here? This is weird. It's not showing up here. Show all windows. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I have too many things open, I think. Okay. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
All right. So we're all getting ready to vote. Voting started yesterday. So one thing we want to encourage voters to do is to sign up to track your ballot. So this is a new statewide system we have now. where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov, and you can get alerts as to what's happening with your ballot, especially if there's any problems with it, such as a missing signature or a signature that doesn't compare. We also encourage everybody to sign up for informed delivery at USPS, where you can get daily emails of what mail will be in your ballot in your box that day. So our ballots were dropped yesterday, or started arriving in mailboxes yesterday. Our envelope looks like this. We got a big XL on it because every voter is getting mailed a hug and a kiss, and all of our voters are starting to receive those. I understand Monterey sent theirs out last week, and we just toured the post office yesterday with Joe Paul, and we saw some of them going out in San Benito County as well. So all those ballots are getting sent out to voters now. Our voting system is basically looks like this: the official ballot, where you fill in your oval to the left of your choice. Most contests are a vote for one, but it's important to pay attention to that language there in case it's a vote for more than one. Voting is not a test. You don't have to vote on every single issue and contest. And if you make a mistake, because everybody's getting mailed a ballot due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and they may not have time to get a second ballot, or they don't want to deal with having to get another ballot mailed to them, correcting your ballot works just fine as well. This is just an example on how to correct it to make sure your voter intent is clear. So we're just trying to put out some messaging about, you got your ballot in the mail, now what? You want to vote it? Make sure you sign that envelope in your own handwriting. That's one of our security measures. We will look at that signature to make sure it compares to our signature we have on file for you. You can drop it off. We all have drop boxes or in-person voting locations. Mailing it, as long as it's postmarked on or before November 3rd and received 17 days later. That's a new law. So we have 17 days on the back end for the post office to get it to us, and then it will be considered on time. All of us have postage paid. But if you want to vote in person instead, you can go to any location in your county, and we have posted our drop boxes and voting locations on our website. I'm sure the other counties have as well. But just because we mail you a ballot, you don't have to mail it back. So we have these ballot drop boxes out in the county. We got 15 of them that are outside. We have a number that are also inside. These are all of our drop box locations. Most of them are drive up locations, but some you can walk up and drop off your ballot. And then we clear those boxes daily. And then we'll have some inside ones as well. So our elections office, of course, our city clerks, we're going to have a box over at our swim center, our public library. And then we've made arrangements with each of our residential care facilities to have a drop box at the residential care facility for their residents so they could easily return their ballot. And then again, just the note, if ballots are postmarked on or before November 3rd, received by us by November 20th, it's good. So that's a really nice save there. If you do end up mailing it close to election day, we recommend you walk in and get it postmarked in person. So for Santa Cruz County, and I believe San Benito County, Monterey can talk about what they're doing. I think they're doing more traditional polling sites, but we're doing these mega centers where any voter can go to any location, and we're going to be open 4 days starting Halloween. And these are a list of all of our locations. And then at the in-person voting location, you can get a replacement ballot. You could drop off the ballot mailed to you. You can vote on our accessible tablet or vote a Spanish ballot on our tablet. You can register and vote on the same day. The deadline to register is October 19th. You can vote provisionally and any other voter service. So all of our voting, due to COVID, we've all had to change things up a lot. So we have to make sure that our in-person locations are safe. So you are required to wear a face covering, keep the 2 arms length distance, washing hands, using hand sanitizer. We suggest people bring their own pen. We will be taking temperatures upon entering. So we are following all the public safety protocols and managing people out at the in-person locations. So we also will have a drop-off box in front of each of our voting locations. It's going to be on wheels like that, and 2 people will staff it with a tent. Most of the locations you can drive up and just drop your ballot off, but some you may have to park your car. If you are returning your ballot on behalf of somebody else, there is a place on the envelope for you to write your name, print your name, and provide your relationship to the voter. So all this is due to, we want to flatten the voting curve. So in March, our numbers were pretty slow, a little bumps there, and then boom, election day, everybody decided to come out and vote. So with the 4-day voting locations and everyone getting a mail ballot and the drop boxes being out, we're trying to flatten that voting curve so people are not congregating in the same place, same time, same location. So we also put together a wait time app, and we did this in coordination with our department. So we're going to be basically queuing people in and queuing them out. So just like the good old days when you went to a restaurant and the restaurant was full, they would get your cell phone number and then text you when your table's ready. We're doing something similar. Ballot is ready. And so and they're also going to be able to look online to see what the wait times are. So if you were wanting to go vote and this is the screen you saw, you were like, you might want to go to Felton because there's no wait time versus the other 3 have a half-hour wait time. And then make sure you do sign your envelope in your own handwriting. I cannot stress that enough. We are looking for comparisons, but you do not sign on behalf of a spouse, do not sign on behalf of a parent. Parents don't sign for your children. Sign it in your own handwriting as the voter. And on our envelopes, we've got a place for you to do that. We ask for you to date it, and then we ask for you to print your name and write your address and give us a phone number or email where we can contact you if we have any problems or questions with qualifying your ballot. And then if somebody is returning the ballot, if you need to ask somebody else to return your ballot for you, make sure it is somebody you trust, and then they would fill out their section where they print their name, write their name, and Mr. Rogers is our favorite neighbor. And then we also, all counties are going to be offering what's called remote accessible vote by mail balloting. And this is another thing that has been expanded due to COVID. It used to be only reserved for people in the military and overseas and voters with disabilities, but now any voter can ask to have a ballot basically emailed to them. You need to make that request. We have a form on our website or call us. The request is due by October 27th. And to vote using the system, you have to have access to a computer, a printer, an envelope so you can return it. We're going to email you an access code for you to access your ballot and vote it. And then to return it, you're either going to use your own envelope, which you'll have to sign and stamp, or if you do have the envelope we sent you, that's the best way to return it. But not everybody will have that. And we're super excited about this. We have a vote mobile, and that's what it looks like. That's my dog, Darwin, in front of the vote mobile. And we are going to be looking at bringing that out to farmers markets and then some areas of the county, especially areas that have been devastated due to fires. So again, this will be a full service operation. You can get a replacement ballot, vote on the tablet, register and vote on the same day. So we'll be getting that out starting October 12th, and we're posting that schedule on our website. Our county voter information guides have gone out. I believe all counties, I think all of us have got those out. I know San Benito actually did a combined mailer where their voter guide and ballot and everything's in one packet, which is super wonderful. And ours are separate. So this is a separate guide you get about the local candidates and measures. And then the state voter information guide, these are in the process of being mailed out. I believe 3/4 of the state have been mailed out so far. The Secretary of State has till October 13th to do this. These guides are also available online. Everybody gets that guide on the left here, which is a summary of the 12 state props, plus the text of Prop 14, because it's a bond measure. And then the text of the other measures are in a separate guide that you have to call and ask for us to mail you that or look at it online. We also recommend using the easy guide to get these online, and they're in 5 different languages. And we also have a Voters Edge lookup tool where it's a nonpartisan link on our website that's run by MapLight and League of Women Voters, where you can get comprehensive information about who's running for office. This is really candidate driven, so they can post information, a photo, and other information about themselves. And then the Secretary of State, of course, has their website, vote.ca.gov. They have the campaign is Vote Safe California. We're using that in Santa Cruz, Vote Safe Santa Cruz. And on this website, you can get tons of information, registering to vote online, checking your status, same day registration. They'll be posting the early voting locations statewide. So there's a lot of information there, including the Office of Cybersecurity. This is super cool, and I want you all to watch this. The Cal Voter Foundation does this really fun song about voting. They also do one about the propositions I haven't seen released yet, but I just wanted to put that out there so you could Google that and listen to that great song. And then, so the ballot safety and security, again, that postmark 17 is super helpful. In March 2020, of the 70,678 ballots that were cast, 852 total were challenged, but 632 of them were due to arriving too late. And in that election, the law required us to get the ballot by Friday, postmarked on a Tuesday, received by Friday. Now that law has been extended 17 days, postmarked on November 3rd, received by November 20th. So I suspect a lot of those will go into the count pile now. And then the signature on your ballot return envelope has to compare to what we have on file for you. We have humans checking those signatures, and our challenge rates, certainly we had 108 that were challenged for no signature at all. Many of those did get cured, and we will contact you if you're missing a signature or if your signature is challenged because it doesn't compare. But you can see those numbers are really low on how many are challenged for no sig or not comparing. And if your signature is challenged, you're going to get that alert if you signed up for where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. In our county, our deadline for you to cure it is November 29th. That might differ between the other 2 counties, but we will be posting information on our website about this, and you'll get this mailed to you, or we'll call you or email you if you gave us that information on your ballot. We also have a number. We're an English only county where we don't do bilingual ballots. The other 2 counties do, but so we do provide a Spanish version of the ballot on the tablet, voting instructions, the state information guide, voter bill of rights. And every voter who's requested Spanish materials is getting mailed a separate mailing with their facsimile of their official ballot in Spanish, so they'll have that. And no electioneering, and including when you're at your home. So people cannot go into your home and knock on your door and tell you how to vote if you're in the process of voting. Electioneering, of course, is also prohibited within 100 feet of a voting location. And if you don't want to let a stranger return your ballot. Don't let people come knock on your door asking you for their ballot, that they're going to return it for you. It's super easy to drop it off yourself in one of the drop boxes, or enlist the help of someone you trust. Or for us in our county, call us and we'll send an elections official out to pick up your ballot. And voter fraud is pretty minuscule. You're hearing a lot of talk about voter fraud, and especially with the mail ballots. And the Washington Post did a study, and the percentage of voter fraud was 0.0025. Heritage Foundation did a study over the past 20 years and found only 143 resulted in convictions. I myself have been here since 1993. I've had 1 case of voter fraud where a property owner voted and returned a ballot for a tenant, and we caught that incident during our standard signature check procedures. Most cases are people guilty of overhelping. Again, spouses signing for each other, parents signing for their kids. Bottom line, it's your ballot, sign it in your own handwriting. And voter suppression, that's another thing that's coming up a lot. We're lucky to be in California. We are one of those enfranchisement states that's really gone above and beyond to make sure people have access to voting, along with Georgia, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. And we also have outstanding law enforcement agencies that want to protect the vote. They don't want to have a presence there to scare people, but they do know where all of our locations are, all of our drop boxes, and if there's any disturbance, they know where to go and deal with that. Other states that aren't so good, Mississippi, Missouri, South Carolina, Connecticut, Tennessee, and Texas. Several states allow voters to, believe it or not, request a ballot by mail the day before the election. So imagine setting a voter up for failure like this, saying you could request a ballot by mail on Monday, but Tuesday's the election. So, and Oklahoma has a requirement that anybody who's voting by mail has to have their ballot signature notarized and include a copy of their photo ID. So a lot of people are voting by mail. I just saw this map on Washington Post, so it just kind of gives you an overview of what's happening state or nationwide. Bottom line, if you see something, say something. Secretary of State has a voter fraud investigation unit. You can always call them, email them, go to their website. Our office as well takes complaints, and we refer those out to the appropriate agency. You know, just spreading the word about voting. I'm seeing a lot of this now. Talk to your family and friends. Chalk art is great. Rock art, car art, social media posts, newsletters, emails, yard signs to promote voting. We're seeing a lot of that in Santa Cruz County. It's super cool and super exciting to see so many people excited about voting. And of course, observers are always welcome. We're putting up cameras to allow people to watch the processing and counting. We have information about observing on our website. Observers can't handle the ballots or interfere with the process of the election. They can't wear anything political. And we just ask any election observer who's interested to contact us so we can set you up for that. And on election night, thanks to a new law again, as soon as we get those voter ballots back, we can process them. And what that means is we check the signature, we extract the ballot, we adjudicate any corrections to the ballot, and we scan the ballots. But we do not tabulate until after 8 p.m. on election night. And then on election night, we'll continue to process and count the ballots that have been mailed to us. As ballots come in from the voting locations, they'll be scanned and added to the count. Again, election night is not final. You know, people will declare winners on election night. And if there's wide margins, you're pretty safe in doing that. But if it's a close contest, when we add ballots to the vote count, it's going to change the vote. And you could have winners become losers. And so ballots will continue to be processed and counted during the canvass. That includes all those same day voter reg ballots, provisional ballots. We do a complete audit of the ballots, recounting every single contest manually. Our deadline to certify is December 1st, and we hope to have most ballots in and counted before Thanksgiving, so everybody kind of knows where we stand. So that's it. That's my contact information, and a big shout out to Future California Elections for the graphics that I'm using in this, because they do really fun stuff and great organization. So that's my spiel.
Wow, that was incredible. Thanks, Gail. I actually learned a lot. I was taking notes, so okay. I do have some questions, but I think it just kind of, this is great stuff. And I think that the more we can get this type of information out, the better. And I did a quick look to see if I could find that video. I couldn't find the video. So if you could drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great. So Claudio, do you want to kind of talk about what's happening in Monterey County? There you go.
Okay, now I can talk. I was trying to unmute in here, but apparently it's set up so you can unmute yourself. Maybe I should point out a few differences between Santa Cruz and our county and here in Monterey County. We are opening our polling places on election night, and we are also have early voting on a couple of locations, one here in Salinas at our main office, and the other one is located at the Embassy Suites in Seaside. Both locations are open now and to the public. we were closed for quite a few months, servicing our voters only via email and phone. And so we opened the first time to voters and public in general, our offices, October 5th, yesterday. So it's been a long time since we have seen people face to face, or behind the mask, I should add. So we're opening all our polling places on election day. We also have those 2 locations. We have over 20 locations where people can return their ballots 24/7. Those are boxes and locations like the libraries, and that's the partnership with the library has been great. They are already government workers. They work for the county or the capital cities that also are participating. They have taken the oath. We have trained them on chain of custody and their rule of 2, always to when you're handling ballots or envelopes or anything that has to do with the ballot. So what other, oh, can I share my screen? If I can share my screen.
You should be able to.
Yeah, so let me show you here real quick the website, our website, so you can see. I hope you can see it. Okay, so
We can see it.
yeah, good. So under elections, our polling place and voter guide lookup is very handy. You can enter an address in here, and you can get the online copy of your voter guide, as well as your polling location, and a link to the accessible voter guide. The other thing that is important here, polling places, all our polling places are here. There's a link to a polling place. And when you open that in your phone, for example, you just enter if you want to get directions, just put your address on the top and it will take you directly to that location. The same thing with our ballot drop-off locations. Here are ballot drop-off locations. Some are 24 hours, as I said, some are business hours, and of course the 2 early voting locations. But also you can just click on any of these links and it will give you the location, and then you can just enter your current location and it will direct you to it. We are starting ad campaign. Well, we started about 3 weeks ago on social media, and we are running some radio advertisements, some TV, print, and anybody that will listen. We are talking about the election and how important it is to vote early and to vote by mail so they can be safe. One of the ads, let me see if I can share that now. So let me stop sharing for a minute and then share my other screen. Okay, so that's that. And here is one of the ads running, I believe, this week.
Are you ready to vote, Monterey County? Make sure your local elections department has your most current information. Check your voter status today at voterstatus.sos.ca.gov or register to vote today at registertovote.ca.gov and be vote ready.
Oh, there it is. Let me turn this off in here and stop sharing. But that's a few differences. We are a bilingual county, so everything going to the voters is in a bilingual format, including our ballot voter guides, and our entire website, as you can see, is bilingual as well. So I think, we do have also a queue or line management application similar to what Santa Cruz is doing. I think it's going to be very helpful to try to get folks not to agglomerate in or form lines that can impact the social distancing. So we work with our ITD department, to do that, and we're very fortunate. We have a really competent group in here. So I think that's what I have in here in Monterey County. And I don't know if I forgot anything, forgetting something, but certainly you can ask questions at the end, I believe. So I'll pass it to Francisco.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. And Gail, I'm extremely jealous of your vote-mobile. Maybe we can borrow it in San Benito County. Maybe not election day, but one of these other days, because that's awesome. That's awesome. And Claudio also loved your advertisement. We're not there yet in San Benito County, but we're close. So I just want to say that here in San Benito County, we're doing a lot of the similar things that Gail mentioned in her presentation. We're actually both applying the similar type of voting structure and draw boxes as well. In San Benito County, we're actually going to have 4 voting locations that are strategically placed throughout the county. I would like to mention that we are a smaller county in comparison to both Santa Cruz and Monterey. Our voting locations as well are going to be open Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We are what else? Oh, we're also going to have 6 permanent draw boxes throughout our county. Due to the input and some of the outreach that we did in the community, we are also going to be adding 24-hour surveillance to our cameras, and we are hiring people to monitor those 24/7 in our county. We are going to have multiple teams that are going to do multiple pickups, 2 pickups a day, to ensure that we are tracking and picking up those ballots as early as possible. We're also adding 4 temporary drop boxes that we're going to have on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. They're located more in the outskirts of our community. That's really the rural areas. They're more country and farmland. They're about 2 hours away from our central location. And those drop boxes are temporary. They're going to be located at small little mom and pops types of businesses. So the corner grocery store and things like that. San Benito County, like Santa Cruz County and Monterey, we're also using ballot tracks, where we highly encourage the voters to use that service. It's free. Partner with the Secretary of State like everyone else, and they can get up-to-date status notifications of their ballots. And we actually had multiple supervisors that are helping us promote this. So we're highly encouraging the voter to do that. We're also encouraging the voters to vote by mail. Of course, it's safe, it's convenient. A lot of our outreach and our media and our targeting that we're doing in our community is to encourage that as well. But of course, if people want to vote in person, we are providing that option as well. And one of the other things I would like to share is, like I said, all the deadlines and timelines that Gail went into detail also apply to San Benito County. We're also doing as equal, meticulous type of auditing and processes to ensure the integrity of all these ballots. What I do want to share is, since everyone got to share their screen, can I share mine too as well? Oh, I can't hear you, but is that a yes?
That's a yes. You should be
Okay.
able to. Uh-huh.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. So since everyone got to share some of the advertisement that they're doing, San Benito County is also, we're not quite as high tech doing it by video, but we're also putting advertisement on all the bus stops in our community. We're also doing mailers. We're also having a billboard that's going to be in the entrance of San Benito County that's going to encourage mail voting. It's going to talk about drop box locations. I don't have an image of it because it's actually going up, I think today or tomorrow. So that will be in the entrance of San Benito County. I also have quite a bit of people in the office. They're very technologically savvy. So we are doing a lot of social media outreach. We're really trying to encourage using their Facebook or Twitter. We're about to go live on Instagram. And we're trying to notice that this is a way to get the information out and to be able to bring more people into the conversation. So one of the other things that we're doing is we're doing live streams in San Benito County. So when we start opening the ballots, we're running them through our machines, we're doing the auditing process. We're actually going to be streaming that live so that people can be part of the process. And we're trying to get a lot of positive reception to that as well. And I think those are everything I have to talk about.
All right. So thank you so much for that. as I was listening, one of the things that stands out to me, it just seems like all of you are very responsive to the needs of the voting public. And I'm also very impressed with the integration of technology and the security measures that you put in place. But I am curious about what challenges you've had to overcome, in your office to get prepared for this year's election. So if we want to start, Gail, seems like it's been a while since you've spoken. So
I mean, just, for us, everything's changed. How the voting model we're using is different. So all of our manuals have to change. How we deliver our services, we're going to be doing online poll worker training now instead of in-person training. So just adjusting to that. And, we're using we have a new module that we're using out at the voting locations to issue ballots, which is different than what we're used to. So having a step-by-step guide put together on that. And, so it's just, we've been, and plus we had the fires. I know other counties have had fires, and we had evacuations and COVID. And our office also does, I'm the county clerk, meaning I'm the commissioner of civil marriages, and we do elections. So pretty much we came off a March election, COVID hit, we got, shut, but we didn't close our doors. We stayed open. It was myself and one other person who stayed here. We implemented the same things that we saw in grocery stores and did the same thing there. And I became like the one place everybody came to get a marriage license to get married. So we did that for like 2 months, and then, June came and we had to start prepping for this election. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I'm really grateful for the partnerships we've developed, not only with my county family, through our California Association of Clerks and Election Officials, but also the Future of California Elections puts out some great graphics and toolkits for us to use. And our partnership with the Secretary of State's office has been incredible. We're all working together to make sure that anybody who wants to vote can vote easily, safely, accessibly, and securely. So, and the Secretary of State did a lot of group orders of the PPE we needed. So the hand sanitizer and masks and things that we got from them has been really helpful as well. And then my dream for a vote mobile, that's like the best, that's the frosting on this COVID cake,
yeah, thank you. Thanks for that, Gail. Claudio, what about you?
Same thing. It's been, as I said the other day to somebody, elections are not for the faint of heart. And then, of course, you add another layer of COVID-19 and all the measures that we have to implement to be safe, for our staff to be safe, for our poll workers to be safe, and ultimately for voters to feel safe going to vote. It's been challenging. And then on top of that, the fires. I had to leave my house for a week due to the fires here in Monterey County. I think also Santa Cruz, so that it was pretty bad over there as well. One of our fires are still burning. It's not completely controlled. So yeah, it's been quite a challenging year. But, we are quite a resilient group of people. I'm speaking of election administrators. We keep taking it. Every year, as I say, there's about 20 different laws that affect election or more sometimes, and rules keep changing, and we adapt. And you have to be an optimist, and you have to be flexible in order to be in this business. You can't survive any other way. But so, yeah, it's been extremely challenging. We're conducting most of our training for our poll workers online. But I have to say, of the positive things that come out of these is it forced us to do certain things we wanted to do for a long time, and either we didn't have the money or enough motivation to do it. This queue management or line management application, we wanted to do it for a long time, and now we just did it. And the other part is that we see other departments within the county and the public in general stepping up to help us. I thought for sure it was going to be harder to recruit poll workers. And I'm telling you, today we have all the poll workers we need. Don't get me wrong, we can always take some more. We always put them in the pool and they are there just in case we need them. But we have over 1,000 poll workers lined up to work in this election. So that's a good thing. People were volunteering to help us out. So that's one of the positive things.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's always great to hear people getting involved in civic engagement and things that actually matter. So that's great to hear. What about you, Francisco? And I know that you're new on the job.
Well, I think the big slogan that we've been using here at San Benito County is think outside the box, right? Think outside the box. Everything that we were accustomed to with our former leadership that unfortunately retired kind of went outside the wastebasket. So we are having to reinvent everything. And same sentiment that Gail and Claudio said, we're having to rethink how we do training. We used to do large training for poll workers in a gym. That doesn't longer work. So now we have to transition everything to video. And then in addition, you have the COVID layer, you got to make sure you have the cleaning, and then you have to reinvent the positions. The way the poll structure model that we had before doesn't quite work anymore. So you have to make sure you create new positions, new titles, new administrative structures. And then everything you had in terms of material, policies, it's gone. So everyone's really having to exert themselves, but we have a great team here in San Benito. Thinking outside of it, it's important. And also, I think listening a lot to the polls of the people, the members of the community. We have done an extensive amount of Zoom meetings, Facebook meetings, and any type of social outreach that we can to see what it is that they want, to make sure before we implement a policy, it's something that they want to see. The Dropbox is a perfect example. They were adamant in San Benito County that they wanted video surveillance and access to it. So we added that to them. Facebook and Instagram is another. We didn't have a social media presence prior to this election. So all that got reinvented, and now we have a person that's dedicated to doing this. So I think it has forced us to be more creative, but at the same time, we found opportunities to improve some of the services that we provide.
Yeah, so that's great. You made me think about some of the key aspects of what we talk about in public administration, which is innovation, collaboration, and community engagement. And it seems like from listening to you talk about the fact that you had to think outside of the box in real time because of those retirements, that forced you to have to do all the things that we talk about and we teach our students to do anyway. So I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but it's just a tremendous opportunity. And it sounds like you guys are stepping up and bringing some of that. I'll refer to it as youth. I'll put the air quotes around it because it's not to infer that you guys are younger. But sometimes it's just that different perspective that comes in, especially when it comes to social media. I find that, you know, it's this younger generation that's going to come in and help us to understand how to make these connections and how to reach people in a real-time way. And so I'm inspired by what's happening in San Benito County. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I do have another question, and then I'll ask other people if they have questions. But I'm on this app called Nextdoor, where it's, you know, it's just our community and people are just asking and talking and saying, sharing things. And there was a question someone posted, like, we all received our ballots last week. And someone was like, no, that's not a ballot. That's actually the election guide. And so someone was like arguing with them, like, no, this is my ballot. And I'm like, okay. And so have you ever had any experience with people like mailing in the guides or doing anything like that? Gail, you're nodding.
Yeah, there's confusion, you know, and that's okay, you know. If they mail back their sample ballot instead of their official ballot and the official ballot never comes in, we remake it on the official ballot and count their vote. There's a code section of the law that basically says opt in favor of the voter, you know, so you always want to put the voter first and make sure that anything we can do to verify it's them and it's a legitimate vote, then it gets counted. Yeah, and Nextdoor is a great place to get information and to put out information. I tried to set up an account where, I mean, apparently our county public information officer can send something out countywide, but I can't. So there's only one person they allow to do that. So sometimes I'll hear things that are happening in La Selva Beach, which I'm not in that neighborhood, so I can't respond. So it could be a difficult tool to navigate for me. So, but yeah, there's a lot of information out there, but it's not always right.
Yeah, it could be born out of the fact that different counties mail their ballots at different times. That for this election, we mail 5 days ahead of schedule to make sure people have plenty of time to return their ballot. But I believe other counties did something similar. But so yeah, it was a little confusing to some people. But we have been pretty busy here at the phones as well. With respect to that application that the neighborhood application that you talk about, is the same thing. Here in the county has an account, so we try to rely on them. We pass the information to them and they post it. But it's interesting. We're becoming more and more active in Facebook and Instagram as well. But in Facebook, we have some people that follow us that are also posting our stuff in other platforms, and they become our little ambassadors of relying good information. We tell everybody you can get reliable information from only two sources, basically, is the Secretary of State and your local registrar. So I'm glad people are sharing our postings, and I know, Gail, you are very active there too. I've seen Francisco's live Facebook in there too, and it's very good. So yeah, for the most part, I think we are all trying to get information out, reliable information out, and certainly correct the misinformation out there.
Yeah. Francisco, you want to add something?
I just share the same sentiment as both Gail and Claudio. We just started using the app recently. It does provide an additional opportunity to target people that are they're talking to each other at a local level. So I think it is a good one that we're trying to take advantage of it as well. But you also have to be careful sometimes because people don't want to be inundated with election information. So like Claudio said, we have a lot of ambassadors too. So a lot of the times we'll share the information to them and then they'll go and relay the information in a way that's more palatable to people. But yes, it's great, another great source and app to use.
Okay, perfect. Mick, Tina, you guys have any questions you'd like to ask?
So there's a question from our audience, and the question says, are there any concerns about watchers at polling locations? If so, what precautions are you taking with local law enforcement or security?
It's really the same thing we do every election. Every election we meet with our law enforcement. We let them know where the voting locations are, where our drop boxes are, and we give them the laws. And the laws say you can't intimidate voters, you can't be in a polling site wearing anything that's political, and our poll workers are trained on how to respond to that. So it's really no different. I know there's a lot more noise around it, but they're trained and ready to take care of whatever happens.
Yeah, same thing with us. I think, and we put a guide to observers, and for the most part, we work with them they come to our trainings, so they're quite savvy when it comes to observing. The only problem is some rogue, or maybe I would say freelancers out there that feel compelled to go and observe. And frankly, they don't know what they're observing, and they don't know the rules of engagement at all. They try to do challenges in there, and they get confused with their rules. Maybe they're listening to other states, but anyway, we try to educate and be as gentle as possible. There's a fine line between observing and, of course, creating a disturbance at the polls. And we have trained field inspectors that try to, again, educate them in the first place to make sure that there is no issue. But yeah, it's like Gail said, we do this every election, and we expect some observers, of course. Some we know that from the political parties already they have told us that they're coming to observe, which we welcome them. We need to be transparent in everything we do. We need to protect the integrity of the election, but at the same time, we have the obligation to be transparent on everything we do.
And people need to understand that when you're observing, you do not have the right to challenge. You cannot challenge a voter. And so you observe, if you believe that the processes aren't being followed correctly, then you have to talk to myself or my assistant county clerks. And we give out our cell phone numbers so people can contact us if there's any concern about process. But we make it very clear that you are not allowed to challenge a voter. You know, say, well, you're not eligible to vote. That's something they can't do.
Okay.
Let me just add a couple things, observations. I want to thank Claudio, Gail, and Francisco for taking time out of your busy day and busy season to join us and explain what it is you're doing. And just to reiterate, Vanessa and I do teach public administration generally to entry level to middle level public administrators, and all of you you've made me proud that you're public administrators in our 3 different counties here. So thank you so much. The observations were that, you know, you're experienced, you're considering all the structural elements and then the human elements that are involved. And Claudio talked about, you know, it's the same election, but, you know, it's like a game or like chess. I mean, the moves are the same, everything is the same, but every game is different. And for this iteration, you've had multiple levels of differences in how you address those and how you have ensured that you've made this election inclusive and even you're ensuring that for the diversity of your population, and you're ensuring that there's equity that's spread across there and that it's accessible to all folks. So I just wanted to pass on my thanks to not just what you do today, but what you do in those boring times, you know, prior to June. And I'm just kidding, there's probably no boring times for you, but thank you so much. I mean, I've learned a lot. I know that Vanessa mentioned that already. Appreciate all that you're doing and how you're ensuring that we do have a safe and equitable voting process in our 3 counties. Thank you.
Thanks, Mick. We do have one question and then we'll wrap up from there. Richard is a member of our Bay Area chapter council. Richard, can we hear you? Can you unmute or no?
Go ahead, Richard.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm on Zoom call outside of a Starbucks in Sonoma County, so please excuse the background. I've actually enjoyed the presentations today. Like Meg and Vanessa, I also am a professor at the University of San Francisco, and you know, I think this type of engagement that you all have demonstrated to us today with regard to the voting process is extraordinary. And this is why I requested a copy of the presentation from Vanessa, because it's something that certainly I want to share with my students this semester and next semester as well. So I don't necessarily have a question at this point, but wanted to join Mick and Vanessa in thanking you all for taking your time to be with us today and to share such great things you are doing. I had no idea that some of this stuff was happening, particularly around the voting mobile. That's I think that really provides access to a number of people that may not have it. So again, thank you all very much.
Thanks so much, Richard, and thanks to everyone. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly. and try to take a screenshot